Hello, it's Ileana and thanks for joining with me for some more scrapping in the alcove. And today I bring to you my 12 by 12 layout on the 6th day of Christmas, which was the 6 veneers, the 6 wood veneers, and that is what I've brought to you today. Now, I'm trimming down some of the letters QRST, which will form the title of this layout, and it relates to that little picture that I'll be using of my right knee sitting by a radiator. There was no proper heating that night, and it was New Year's Eve at my home, and I was just cutting all of these, well, you could call them Project Life cards or something similar. But they're all in paper form, just loose flappy bits of paper, and I happened to be on QRST and took a picture that evening, and I thought I'd incorporate that into a title. So in case you thought I'd lost the plot and couldn't do the alphabet anymore, this was me in my head thinking of what title I could use for the QRST, and I was thinking to go round clockwise because the picture shows it in the square form. I'll talk you through that later. Those are gorgeous little toppers of mason jars, and the reason I've brought that out is because I was preparing that very night, I'm all a bit last minute me, on the 31st of December, what some people on Pinterest have been calling the sparkle jars, or a jar of thanks, where we've been placing some little notes of thanks or little notes of anything really that catches our attention of the days that we live out in the year, so that come the 31st of December 2015, as a family, this is the hope, that we will open that jar and just be bursting full of excitement, all the things we could be thankful for and that we have enjoyed or got through in the year together. So where am I now with the layout? I've decided to incorporate lots of bits from my stash. That's what I've been doing for these 12 days of Christmas layouts. And so these paper clips in the number 31 I have from IKEA. These are the wood veneers that are going to be the primary veneers I use on this layout from, was it Pink Paisley, which also matches with that paper. And that comes from the Serenade collection of Basic Grey, that quote. It says, "Clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness and patience." And that comes from the good old Bible in Colossians, which is a funny thing to find in a Basic Grey paper pack, but I quite enjoyed that. And one of my resolutions for the year is to try and learn a few more biblical quotes. So thought that would be a good start to get on there, and it kind of roughly matched the colour scheme. It's a bit of a mishmash layout. The left and the right almost play two separate parts, and to be honest, it's just one of those layouts that uses up lots of bits, and that's pretty cool, but it also doesn't have the regular kind of pleasing kind of effect of anything, but you know, it's okay. Not one of my favourite layouts in the end, but it gets the job done. And that's about where I was at with these 12 days of Christmas by this point. We're into the new year, as you can tell, with me having scrapped that. And I'm thinking, oh, Christmas is way behind me. And here I am narrating it in February, and we're nearer to Valentine's, which is fine. It's still winter, so I'm kind of giving myself some breathing space about this whole ordeal. So I hope you'll bear with me anyway. And I think I've said before, none of these papers are particularly Christmas themed, so I think you can get some pleasure out of these watching them post-Christmas and probably well into the summertime, who knows. So this is my husband. He was sitting slightly forward of me, and we had set up the laptop to watch New Year's Eve in a different country. So we'd obviously got, we've just subscribed to this smart DNS thing, which so you can watch TV from around the world. And oh yeah, that's my special punch that's going to cut out some labels there to put round the sparkle jar in just a second. I think it's an EK success, and I'm just going to punch out the 12 by 12 background peachy kind of orange paper because that won't show, and I will cover that back over with some paper, but it's the perfect colour to use on the jar, as it of course will match with the border of the paper, which is all that's going to show. Anyway, as I was saying, the laptop. So we're watching TV for an hour ahead because we figured we'd be lightweights and probably want to go to bed at 11 o'clock or thereabouts, and we thought, oh, let's watch some Swedish good New Year's celebrations, and then we can go to bed and then just like not worry about the real New Year's celebrations, because who needs those when you're parents? But actually we ended up going to bed well after midnight, so we watched the Swedish one and the British New Year's, and it was really good fun. Although not nearly as good fun as the olden days when we used to actually go outside and watch fireworks and stuff. But you know, sometimes it's nice to be cosy and just the two of us. So that was us that night anyway. Now the title QRST, I figured out what words might be befitting since it was the start of a new year. And so I've gone with these foam letters, and it looks like I've just shown you my bargain, which of course I bought for £1. But what I was trying to show you was where I got them from, which was just the local Hobbycraft, I think. And so they're basic white foam letters, and I spelt out the words Quell Regret, Soldier Through. And it really is important to read them kind of with a break in the middle rather than 4 separate words, I think, because if you just have them separately they sound a bit strange. It's not the punchiest of titles, I'll grant you that, but the reason I went with that is because sometimes at New Year you start feeling a little bit regretful of all the old resolutions that you never kept. In fact, we've got a lot of our resolutions already in the bag because we started them halfway through the year. So we're both gym members and we attend regular classes, even if at the moment I'm just doing once a week. And that's fine because I cycle too. And Dave as well, he's attending his and cycles. And so in a way you might feel regretful. But actually New Year is sometimes about just don't worry about that. Quell the whole regret thing. And then just soldier through. Well, yeah, soldier on maybe might be the correct expression, but it doesn't begin with a T, so I've gone with the through. Soldier on through, I suppose you could say. Just soldier on through the year with the whole sense of just quelling any sense of regret. I hope I haven't garbled that too much. So the essence of my New Year's resolutions is to just get on with it and be happy about it, and by the end of the year have loads of thanks about it. So yeah, that's kind of the whole theme of this jumbled layout. But of course, as always, I never have quite the right amount of letters for long titles because I use them all up too quickly. So I've had to make E's out of things like C and then cutting into other alphas, and I've done that on the word regret and on the word soldier as well. And it does the job. It seems to still read okay. And originally I was just going to go with the Q, R, the S and the T of the background cards to be the initial letter, but it didn't read correctly, so I've gone back and put a capital letter on the beginning of each of those words. And in the card, right, so I'm sort of layering down some of these elements now. Oh, I really need to explain this massive wood veneer that says ever so thankful or something. I don't know, I've covered it a little bit. It says so very thankful, I think it said. Came from a Quirky Kits bargain box from just before I properly subscribed to them. I'd ordered a bargain box and it came in with that, unsurprisingly, because who's going to shift that? It's quite ugly, really. I'm sure if any of you have used those, you've used it much more beautifully than I have. And you creative ladies out there from whom I am much inspired would know exactly what to do with one of those. But I was a bit stumped. So it had been kicking around for a while and I decided to kind of layer it up as though it were just one of the pictures. And I think it looks okay, and it certainly serves the purpose of using wood veneers up for this layout, so I was quite pleased about that. And the snowflake, which came from the pink paisley, snapped a little bit. It was a bit too heavily glued on that packet, actually. Whoops. So I snapped one of the pegs, and I will be using that snapped piece in another layout. Fear not, nothing goes to waste with me. And you wouldn't tell from this layout because it's kind of neatly tucked in to the left, so it looks like a complete snowflake there. And then I'm just sticking a few hearts down from a couple of collections. I'm showing you some ink that I will be imprinting. A few footprints down the bottom, which was a freebie from a craft stamper magazine that I'd recently received and stopped subscribing to now. But that one looked perfect. It was just like Santa's footprints, or maybe more accurately for me on this layout would be the kind of trudging through. No, trudging's the wrong word. Kind of just plodding through the year. So from left to right I've used those stamped images. And the card I'll be writing my journaling on is kind of tucked behind, and that's fine. I don't need to keep pulling it out to remind myself, and I can read it for you now. And it says, after a tired day/year at work, we chilled at home on New Year's Eve. As Dave set up the laptop to glance at Swedish TV celebrations, 1 hour earlier than ours in the UK, I huddled by the plug-in radiator, the central broken, preparing our sparkle jar for the year ahead. We set our resolutions together and popped those in the jar. It will be fun to open the family's annual contributions on the 31st of December 2015. And on the back I've just put Bye Eliana 2015. As you can see, I'm just sticking a little bit of glitter glue in those cute little mittens, which have heart-shaped gaps. So they're now red glittery heart shapes. And I'm using a few little dots around the sparkle jar as well for good measure. And I have got some little bit of bling on the snowflake and around the sparkle jar and on some of the hearts of the layout as well. And in just a sec you'll see that I am showing you some more Wood Veneers that came in a previous quirky kit. There they go, and I'll be popping a few of those down on the layout as well. Doubling up a little bit the thickness of the already quite thick wood veneer. Actually it's thin, so I think I get away with that. It's no more than a flare badge would raise it to, so yeah, although it's wood on wood down on the thankful wood veneer, it's kind of fine. And what else will I be sticking down? I think I found these rub-ons from, again, a previous quirky kit. They were the notes and things, crepe paper rub-ons. They were a dream to work with, and I've rubbed out the word Our Journey onto one of those journal cards. Those journal cards, by the way, they were all from the Happy Days collection by Paper Mania. Really old collection, but kind of sprinkled those around the background of the pictures. And a couple of those Teresa Collins stickers with arrows on them, again to kind of give a bit of direction to the layout and the direction for the year ahead. So now I have to say goodbye, but I do want to say thank you so much for watching. And for those of you who have been leaving me comments, I really appreciate those, and I read every single one. So thank you for those, and I do look forward to seeing you all again in the near future for another one of my process videos. Bye for now!